The 26th of November 2022, you're very welcome back to the channel. Real, true education, not fake news. This is not RTE, as we have a corrupt broadcaster in Donnybrook in Dublin. You're welcome back. Please note, I only get upset and angry when there's reason to be. I do have a part of the channel which is Val's Pictorial Weekly, and there'll be a sign up here if it's on, and it's for a bit of light-hearted fun. Well, unfortunately, the scale of the destruction of the Irish country and the Irish people is so imminent that nobody can take it lying down. We have to move. We can't wait. Okay, now this is 49U. Now, I made my comments about Roy Keane. His job was to go out and play. It wasn't looking for notice. He was just attention seeking. But he let down the children. I don't believe he was as sick as could be. He let the children and the youngsters down, and he let other people down when he was wanted to let them down, when he was wanted to play. Gemma Doherty might do her best, but she has been caught not up to the job at all. 4 men from different parts of Ireland went up to speak to her at a meeting in Ashbourne, and she wouldn't even meet us. We had a meeting outside on the fire, and we decided that she wasn't any use at all. And that's been confirmed by the way she's gone on. She's not where it's at. If you're going out for election, as she invited people like me to go under her name, you need to be able to ring up somebody and find out what the policies are that you're asked on the doorsteps. She wouldn't do it, and and there were several other issues I mentioned. So they're no good. Now, the same with Michael Collins. There'll always be somebody to do the dirty. There'll not be as many to come along and do the work and do the hard work. So in relation to the protests in Dublin, I get the feeling that the Irish people are now beginning to become repulsed at this. You want to go on the journal.ie and see what Fianna Fáil are up to, and what they're bringing in. Mad LBG stuff. Some kind of two-spirit religion that exists among Native Americans in Alaska, of all places. And all this stuff, just read it on the journal, Fianna Fáil's new proposal. So they're gone. I know the Irish people are not up to that. The question is, how do we tap it? There'll always come a day, as they say in agriculture, there'll always come a good day for to get the work done, if you're ready for it. And we are not ready for it. We are not ready for it. We've got to put forward a manifesto that will appeal to enough people to get seats. That's what it's about. Otherwise, this will go on for the next 10 years. And that's what they are scared of. That's what they're scared of. Now, that old Ursula von der Leyen idiot from Europe is coming over to the Dáil to give a speech next week. There should be protests about her. And put up posters and abuse her every way you can. The dirty old yoke. That's the one that's causing all this grief. And there should be that. But for the meantime, anyway, what I want to say to the people in Dublin and other people who are protesting against this mass migration. I mean, the Irish and my ancestors were forced to move a few miles down the road. We didn't get out of Ulster. The Catholic population that was being planted and put out stayed in Ulster by and large. And as a result, there's this very significant nationalist community in Northern Ireland. That's how Sinn Féin gets elected. If they had to all flee and leave their native land, there'd be nothing there. There'd be no nationalists up there, and it'd never be independent. Do you get my point? It's the same with Ukraine. They should stay there and form the nucleus of a Ukraine nationalist movement to get the Russians out or get it solved in some way. Instead of that, they're humping over here to Ireland. There's fellas were on the internet there, they're from Georgia. There's no war where they are at all looking for something for nothing. Right? But when the groups start to get traction, watch this, I've seen this all my life. When they start to get traction, you'll get the bucko coming in, or the woman. Oh, I'll do a little bit for that, I'll do a little bit. And they're really for the other parties. Boris Johnson was a spy for the Labour Party and for the World Economic Forum. He wasn't the real Mackay at all. Richie Sunak is another spy. You were better with Labour. He's reversing everything. This is the insidious nature of it. You need to know, you need to eyeball your people. The one Meloni in Italy is not, Viktor Orban is not. You need to watch these people coming into your midst. I went down to a meeting down in the Midlands 12 years ago on the wind farms, and my objective was to have a national association, have a fund, take judicial reviews. We'd now be in a prime position. You take a judicial review, you put the 4,000 up front, you win your judicial review, the lawyers get the money from Burpenola, and you go on to the next one. That was a great plan. But it was shot down. A couple of people got into the chair and said, no, no, no. And when I continued to protest and to try and make block wind farms on the SEA directive, which have now been proven to be right, when I continued to do that, I received phone calls from them. Don't do that. Don't do that. We'll sort it out with the politicians. We'll sort it out with the politicians. You see, the windmills are whistling round their heads. So what was this about? Why wasn't I allowed to go ahead and form a good association, a tough association? Whatever you might say about me is I'm tough and I'm honest. And I later acted as a collector for various things, and all very straight. Okay? Now, the point about all this is this. You have to get policies that the voter will vote for. Ben Gilroy has a big sledgehammer and he's breaking up some kind of a poster. That's the wrong image. You have to win by the strength of your argument. You watch how Nigel Farage argued on Brexit. There was no violence or anything else. He was cogent, he was hated, he stuck to his guns, and he delivered Brexit. Might be being pulled away from him now, but he delivered Brexit, right? You look at what happened when he went to put up a party with what do you call that girl? I think it's Anne Whitcomb and all them. When they went to put up candidates, the Conservative Party yielded and they started bringing in policies that Farage wanted. That got them out of the way, they got back into power, and they went straight back to do what they had been doing before. So what will happen now is, if the parties see traction by my side, they will start amending their policies to try and get re-elected, and the minute they do, they're away with the same again. So that's why I use the word poison in the minds of voters, how we go about that. So watch for the spy, and watch for the person who is not necessarily a spy, but is against you, or is watery, or is not prepared to step up and be tough. You have to be tough. You have to be tough. That's why I made the point about being native Irish, because I can be tough. If I wasn't, I was already attacked for being English. So that'll tell you, if I was English, what they were going to do with me. They were going to belittle me, okay? I mean, there was 3 judicial reviews taken on the SEA directive, and the High Court threw out 3 of them, and one of them was brought to the Supreme Court by Friends of the Irish Environment, which would not be on my side, but they were. And now 7 judges in the Supreme Court have ruled that it should go to Europe. So that shows you needn't be going near the High Court. You have to go all the way with these. And any legal case has to be ready for that. But the thing is, what you don't want is to get TDs elected. Supposing there was 4 more independent TDs to go along with the already good, there's 8 or 9 of them up there, but because they're outvoted by the Greens and them, and Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, they can't have an effect, right? You could have a TD or someone from your area getting elected on your banner, and the next thing you'll see him or her above in Dáil Éireann saying, we have to be welcoming. Sure, there's only 500 million from Africa, so they'll be all right. Sure, look, we'll put them in somewhere. Sure, we'll get the people to take them in their own homes. Not one politician in the Dáil will take in any of them into their own home. Not one. Not one of them has an electric car other than Shane Ross, and he's gone. Not one. Not one. So we got to use that. The right way is not to be tough going up to election and be gentle and meek after. The right way is to be meek going up to the election. Put on a human face. And then when you get into power, dig in. That's the time to do it. When you have them across the chair, that's the time to pile on the pressure on them. Not before them. There's no point going out abusing the electorate, thinking they're going to vote for you. To get abusing these crowd in the Dáil, you have to persuade the elector that you're going to be good, and once you get elected, you can get after the criminals that we're talking about, and that's what most of these TDs in the Dáil are, a crowd of criminals And you've got to get after them, and you've got to put a bit of money into judicial reviews and things to block them of what they're doing. Just watch them. Watch them. Remember what Colin said to Boland, Kevin Boland, I think it was. He told him there's bound to be spies in our campaign because he knew from reading books there was all as informers. Now, I'm not giving out about saying that the Nationalist cause is any better than the Unionist cause or the British working good or bad. I'm keeping out of that. I'm just saying how the man thought. He says they're there. We know they're there. And one of them got shot by him, some of his men, and he gave the widow a pension. So you have to look at it like that. The destroyers of our campaign are there waiting in the long grass. Every meeting has a spy. There's a lady at every meeting in Ireland. As an old friend of mine, he was a chap, he'd name well, he was JJ, we'll say no more. And the name of that lady is Hidden Agenda. Hidden Agenda. There's a hidden agenda at every meeting. You gotta watch them. You gotta watch them. I told a lady down the country about meetings and that, and she says, I couldn't believe it. I went into the meeting, and the next thing I could see exactly what you were saying. I could see exactly what you were saying. I could see them coming on. These ones only want to fool you. You need solid, sensible, good people. You need them there, and they will fight us all the way. But if you play your cards right and listen to a few old grey hairs from me and guide them along, the people of Dublin are rising. They're rising against what's happening, of the displacement of the people by a corrupt government. These are working class people down about East End. These are toughies. They're toughies. And they have to be toughies, because being nice is not going to work. It's not going to work. So folks, good luck with your protest today. Good luck with your protest next week. Maybe I'll see about getting up. I don't know. But anyway, that's it. That's my views. I can say it here. Everything I've said is right. I predicted everything that's said. They'll find ways to undermine this campaign. I've tried to itemize how it's going to happen. Everywhere you go, watch them. I can smell them. I can know the look of them. You'll see their eyes. You'll see them looking a bit like this when you go to talk to them. You voted Fianna Fáil, didn't you? You voted Fine Gael. But some people have told me they voted Sinn Féin, and now they see that I'm right. They know I'm not against Sinn Féin. Sinn Féin has the golden opportunity to bring Ireland back to where it should have been. The great Ireland that was the image of Wolfe Tone and all these great people, Parnell and all of these great people down through the years. But they're not doing it. They are turning traitor. That's my point. And if there's people in Sinn Féin get to disbelieve with that, stand up. Where is Fianna Fáil? Where's our local TD, Brendan Smith and Niamh Smith, with this stuff that's going through the Dáil now? Two Spirit something. Go on the journal and you'll get it there, what they're up to. And where are they? Where's John, is it McGuinness down in Carlow? Why aren't they talking? That's the question. They're not going to. They'll never. Whatever way this religion of wokeism is developing, it's very hard to whack it. And it takes tough people to whack it. Folks, that's where I'm coming from. Give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. Let's rise up. I made a video years ago about rising. The rural people need to rise up, and now the city people are getting it. They're all getting it. What the plan is to destroy dreams going back to the hill of Tara. Going back that far. Every time we go to get something good and get ourselves moving, it's thwarted, it's twisted. It's either the Vikings, the British, or the Normans, or somebody, or the EU. Every time. And it's going to happen again. Let's say no. Let's hit the table. No. Simple word. Folks, a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We'll see you back for something soon.